saying like keep cattle, not pets.
Configurations.
Yeah. And it's good. It kind of takes a lot of worries off you. As long as you trust your orchestrator.
Yeah.
Essentially, like, there's a policy
Do you have any good solution for tunneling IPv4? Like you have something posted somewhere and you want to expose an IPv4 to a TV?
I don't need that, but what a lot of people do is just tailscale.
Right, but like I want it to be on the internet. The problem is nobody has IPv4 in Thailand anymore. You have to pay to install it.
Yeah.
So it's accessible over IPv6. All of my stuff and that's working. My home myself but whereas the Bitcoin network doesn't have IPv6.
Yeah.
Other than I can't reach my home.
What about all these standard things like Android, Cloudflare tunnels? Like, I know that a lot of people use Cloudflare tunnels now because it just works. Like it's such minimal configuration.
I'm assuming you need your own domain for that. I can't use my domain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ngrok, I'm not sure. I just know that it's source.
It's so frustrating.
You should have did you guys bring is there coffee
Yeah.
over there?
It's just like here.
Coffee find
Yeah.
at
Or
there's like the lady who does coffee like immediately down there.
into your
But
own
it's a
environment or why
shake thing.
IPv6.
Okay, yeah, not really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like an Italian restaurant if you just walk down this way.
It's annoying to set up, but once it's running, right? It's a one-time thing.
I don't know where that door.
I think you can do it from the server side. Like I have friends on Plex that can't access my server.
Maybe worth checking out is
But with WireGuard, you can just send them a config file to the TV, out to the TV.
So they're PlayStation 5.
Well, for TVs, you have WireGuard. I know that because I tried.
Fucking SSL. SSL works. Why do I need a tunnel inside a tunnel inside a tunnel? And then you use WireGuard, fucking tailscale, and it's fucking IPv6 that it's using to tunnel in. It's like, what? Just use IPv6 or just use IPv4.
Yeah. Yeah, for like other devices, I guess it's hard.
It's not hard. We have the internet. The internet works.
Yeah, but you need a universal app or something that works on all devices and it's always available. Yeah, but a client on a PlayStation, for example.
Works great with Plex and TLS.
Yeah, but you need the app. You need the app on the PlayStation, right?
No, you need to fix the problem server side. And then it's just exposed on the internet. The app's on the PlayStation, the app works, so you can access it directly.
Yeah, but is the app available?
this last night. Yeah.
It's like,
Any app.
there's a
It's
lot.
on tailscale. Plex
I
is
mean,
about.
Yeah.
I kind of have this thought about all this. Like, I kind of want to challenge like the assumption when we say nobody knows how this looks.
It's just so frustrating. It's just like one net
I would
cat.
say.
I mean that's like definitely not true, but it's more like it's pocketed. Like this guy has a view, this guy has a view, this guy has the right view.
It's all working.
Is
But
probably
there's no SAS for that.
by default drop
I know.
solved.
Yeah.
They touch every objection that a person would have.
Yeah.
They like literally structure these docs and they're like, we've done 15,000 of these.
Yeah.
And this is the data that we have. You know exactly all the objections. You know exactly what people want. You know how to break it down into pillars, categories.
Yeah.
How to execute a specific thing.
This has been like, my own calculation was that they would know this and be able to teach it eventually. I think And then my assumption was that at the moment they don't have all bases covered yet. I think you're going to walk into many situations and find that they don't have it. But I think give it like a year.
15,000 people ahead of us.
Yeah.
And the origin of the
Yeah. Yeah. I think 1 year they're gonna like you'll see more and more of the territory sort of covered by them. But that's what we were saying. Like that's the reason why they wanted their own FTE to go in the field to send the data back. And where does it go? Into the model, into the courses. If the model has what the course is saying to do, it makes the FTE person's job way easier. Because like, well, Cloud doesn't do it.
courses are interesting.
It's always a good idea.
So
Same with the
you
table.
want to actually take it because screenshots are like, okay, this is your client, this is the situation you're in, what are how would you
Yeah, that's what I kind of imagine.
drop
Yeah.
it here, drop it. So it's like an interactive training.
Yeah. I want to see more. I want to see what they like, what data set they currently have.
So they just added
Came to me of that last week, couple of days, half of that works in I want that back.
specifically for yourself, you step or it's like how you sell this
Right.
approach it and stuff, what we can do, like
Use code to figure out where shit's broken and it found like some TV
Yeah. Okay.
which
fundamentally broke my system.
customer
How to keep reminding them like what solution
The Saturday week I was
custom API
planning on running all of my.
Yeah. If this, do this.
yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the direction they're going in.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's cool that they have that because they're like.
So yeah, it's kind of like you give it a toy, keep it as a toy, and then a couple of days later you snatch that away. That's
That's that.
Stack.
Yeah, I really think there's such a big importance on like collecting all the data, like everything they have on all the public outstreams. But yeah, I want to sit with it and see if there's one there. I always suspected at some point they would have it in there, and it just makes all the sense in the world. That's what you do. You were then.
There's a big problem because you can't just build your systems around one
Every
way
week.
and they go back to the beach.
People start like 9, 7 minutes or so. That takes a while.
just not to be easy.
That's how you be.
No. More than 2 years, I think. A little bit, still, like,
Wait,
gone past. I really don't know what you got. It's, I don't know. Wait, there's top 2. Oh, really? How did you hear about it? How did you hear about it?
And sent the link, so looked at last week's.
That's where
No, actually.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, yeah. We just had it for yeah.
So
Well,
I
hopefully you like today
water
when we start. I don't know how much they have to come in. Sometimes there's no seats in this room. Sometimes there are. Yeah, yeah. Like changes.
It's like yeah, especially like Apple.
How many people are in town?
That's what
So you're a startup, a startup.
yeah, I follow.
Was that like a yellow space?
There's always is like
Oh, okay. Forces.
Yeah.
crypto was like singing the ass to get
Yeah, got it, got it.
And I get them.
actually US citizens. No, it's all just bigger exchange. It was
Morning. You made it on. You made it early.
I know. I told you I feel bad about being late.
No, it's do not ever feel bad. Ever. Don't feel bad about it.
In the rest of my life, I will never feel bad.
I think
Yes.
a lot of it though, like
Sociopath mode on.
I'm free A, there's no
Yeah, sorry.
So you got space to go to Slack.
That one.
I do like to use like a
Oh, cool. That was Monday.
Yes, exactly.
That's what they're trying to do, I think.
Oh, was that
I'm pretty sure most of the actual.
what was it?
It was like business modeling
Run by Sue?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know the, okay, yeah.
Utility thing.
Yeah, we used to, this actually started over there, Sue.
Unless they're gonna lose.
But then,
You don't pay your driver.
Yeah.
well, at that point, you know, like I said, you know, goes up and down, something. And we do sometimes, so like he's the ambassador for the topic, so we do in topic events, here or assistant. Yeah, I mean, if someone comes here to
And that was back
some
then.
sort of,
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah, because back then that's what we were saying.
co-workers, the labs, like,
Once they go.
you're a developer, or
A lot more.
The sheriff.
But yeah, so that's hard.
Yeah, that's.
oh, you're retired,
Orange person in the US.
2 years back, so like 2 years ago you came out and you were like, done, or?
Yeah, well,
Just,
yeah, I think it's for the most part, it's
The way these people like this was the landing gear, right? If you go to these eventually it's gonna go when we get there,
yeah, I don't mind.
Is a little bit right now. Someone said
My work, I can do remote work. But the problem is it's just legally.
Solo person start out.
It's just, so it's actually, it's from the Medicare from like 1930. So like before, it's just back then, the way they were tested, like, you must be in the United States back in the 1930s. And so they just never changed the law. Possible, yeah, oh yeah. Or have like a VPN, they sometimes. No, I haven't just had to take my list next year. But,
Yeah.
I just hit play.
yeah, so like.
So you've already got your system set up to build the clips. Are they clip size?
But I'm all ready.
yeah, so like, the scene size is like,
Right.
and then
Yeah, so that was, oh, it's like the security.
but I mean, it's in the guys, it's up to 80 I have one business where you used to get, for example, and does like a movie every day.
Yes, well, yeah,
That's your whole life.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like you have my screensaver.
it does.
Yes, I love it. Leaning
A lot of art, actually.
I have 3
For the training
And then I don't automate my posting.
I'll get more.
I
also have 2.
mean, like I have like agencies.
Like local time.
Reports down to all the
Yeah.
but the content that goes up here. So,
Yeah.
So like, you can really, they used to do a lot of.
yeah. In the beginning, I didn't have the human in the loop there, but I was like,
And then there's a controller.
Yeah, well, that's very important. I thought.
Yeah, do you use mostly flight
Because
mode?
when you manually start
I
using
do
it,
it
and then
a few weeks ago.
downloading, posting it, and then you take post things after social media, and search manually with like this. So that,
So were you there at this generation?
graduate here.
yeah,
Tried it out pretty heavily.
Well, 6 years.
Yeah, I call it like a graduation framework.
Psychedelic stuff.
Yeah, well, I've mostly
Elevate
actually.
your way to a skill that's just doing other
I pay for the AI providers and it comes
Yep.
with all of my storage.
Some point.
So I know it's not like the quite as good as the.
Yeah, I only use
Since I'm not like a
like
developer,
solo activity. A lot of it's on there, there's a lot of parts it's not.
Yeah, listening is like when they bunch everything together, they get like all like 5 terabytes of change.
Yeah, well, I think that's true, because you don't want to push out AI stuff.
Right, like forever.
Yeah.
First game I worked on.
Whatever your level of code is.
Yeah, yeah, the other one, finding that is like, what is acceptable in the market?
Yeah.
Know what that game is?
I remember.
Way back in the day.
Alright, then we'll start.
Oh, she did. How funny. I think it's like I use Bolton for.
Alright, let me get the lights first. Let me get the correct.
What you talking about mid-journey?
Yes, good.
Check
Better?
it out. Look it up.
Whatever.
The first one's
The first one's better.
It's very weird.
that's fine.
C is good, but
Yeah.
they created a virtual system that sends sonic information.
No vampire stuff, so we don't fall asleep.
Scans.
Okay.
Nick, I don't know if you have announcements. I just sent you one on
Yep.
the OpenClaw side. So we hired our first developer relations guy. And so actually, if you do anything on the OpenClaw side, you can just message him. I put it in the chat. And he's like really friendly. You can connect to him, talk to him, and he's awesome.
This is for if you have like concerns with OpenClaw, if you
Any concerns,
questions.
community, hey, can I help on the plugin side? We're trying to fix up our Discord is shit. And developer relations have been really shit. Like people get banned all the time and just kicked out and like, code gets ignored. So we have a guy from the foundation side, he's like really good from SF and he's done this with a couple of open source projects. We're trying to make it actually open source, like literally the Codex team kind of pushing everyone around and just being assholes.
Yeah.
So the foundation's kind of been like, hey, we should probably, be more friendly to developers, and he's really good. So
Yeah.
if you're building on it, having issues, you're like, hey, I have this code that's been waiting for like 2 weeks, I can't get anybody to review it, like, he's awesome.
There's someone there, yeah. And then just so all the new people in the room, explain who you are, because they're all like,
I'm not a maintainer on the project, but I deploy like 6% of all OpenClaw is me, and that's when you include all the plugins. The engine is like 50% me. So I don't like to work for Codex and things like that. So because otherwise they'd have to like not be able to talk shit about everything. But yeah, I got in trouble this week. I tweeted about like Codex. They shipped a bunch of broken shit this week. I don't know if you saw the bugs. Tons of lockup bugs and things like that. I actually had to ship like 5 PRs to Codex. I never like to fix Codex. But yeah, here the team was like, hey man, why are you being so mean to us? I was like, you didn't test the fucking code, man. Like,
yeah, that's how it is. Well, there it is, like right there. That's what's happening right there on the ground level. You guys are just like pushing out at light speed, and quality is sort of like a second afterthought.
Well, they're not QAing it, so it's they're like, hey, we added it, and the features they added this week were like stupid features, like we now minified the threads, like so you can actually like expand it out and things like that, and it broke all the threads. There's like the database locking, and nobody tested it. It's just, but like I said, it's 95% all AI code. There's one product manager, all the engineers kind of just own one thing. I'm not even kidding, like one engineer for like just like the side menu. Like there's just so many engineers in the projects. They all own the different pieces. A bunch of cool new features did get released though, like the new automatic skill capture. That's fucking cool. Like record the video. I don't know if you saw it. Jake put it out and then making the skill. That's pretty good. That came actually from OpenClaw. So
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's see if it shows up. If it doesn't show up on News Coda, I think it does. I think it's captured. So I'll go ahead and let's go ahead and start. So for all the new faces, welcome. This is an engineering meetup. We meet every week. It's been going on for like the last 2 years. I consider it a safe space to talk on technical matters. It's also a place to focus on the frontier of what's happening on the AI. So generally, or let's say exclusively, we just talk about what's happening week after week, stay up to date with the news, the model releases, the harness changes, and so on, what's happening out there. Yeah, okay, and so what I do here, the way we do this is I have a whole bunch of items that went viral this week or updates from either the big labs, Codex, Anthropic, and so on, and we talk about it. We share our experience. Usually there are people here who are here that have tried something that maybe you haven't, And so that's like the reason to come here, to sort of learn, share, talk, and so on. So with that, let's jump into the news and start going over things. So this is, I titled this one a Week Without Mythos. Last week the whole drama was on Mythos and how amazing it was, and I think the morning we came in here, literally 2 hours before we came in here, it was ripped away from everyone's hands. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I think every single week we've done this, I almost have skipped the whatever this is called. I don't even know what this is. The slides are not generated by me. This has been for like the last year or so. It's been made by an agent. And I never removed this, but I read it last night and I was like, you know what? I think we should read it this time because it's just an interesting, funny thing. Like last week there was Mythos. This week, no Mythos. We were hoping it would come back. It didn't. And so it's kind of interesting how, I think this is like Opus's take on it, right? So this week, no God model landed, no AGI proclamation, no founder sermon, no this changes everything. This week was more or less quite quiet. So for once on the frontier went quiet on Mythos, and what was left underneath was the work. I'm not going to go further. I don't know what the rest is saying. Let's go into the first news item. You got something? Yeah?
I just will mention there was a interview that came out today. Did you see it?
No? Okay, let's open with, is that about Mythos?
Yeah.
Let me introduce you just, and so the audience knows, Ambassador from Anthropic is here, Ian, and instead of talking about the news, we're going to table it for 1 second, because he's got something to share.
I was just going to say, so like apparently they've signed the doc that they're going to re-release it sometime in the next 48 hours. There's an interview that came out tonight, like literally like 6 or 7 hours ago, I think, with Trump himself, and they asked him explicitly about it, and he said, "I used to think Anthropic was bad. I don't think they're bad anymore. Dario's a smart guy, and he's approaching it the right way now. So now we're working to."
And he did sort of tease who the why this all started too, right? He said it was from a competitor.
Yeah, he was very specific
co-founder?
from owner and competitor.
Yeah, it was Amazon, right?
It was Amazon.
It's a rumor.
Yeah. No, he basically admitted it.
Yeah.
He's like one of the like Trump admitted it on the thing. He's like they turned him in. Like they made it sound like it was like take him to jail or something.
Yeah, the rumor was what? It was like a blue team side escalation from within Amazon to.
It was about the jailbreak side.
Yeah, jailbreak.
About the biological warfare. I mean, it was I think it was actually legitimate in the sense of like, the problem was, if you don't build certain things in, and then the guardrails are kind of shit. Like, I mean, I tested out the jailbreak, and I was like, let's make a bioweapon.
Did you, or what did you get back? Did you?
Oh yeah. It's like, okay, cool.
Coronavirus? Did you?
Yeah. The whole point was, the problem is the workflows. Actually, the issue is simply around when you're doing a workflow with hundreds of agents, the guardrails just don't work because each one's doing a tiny piece of it, and so you can get around it with jailbreak pretty easily. And if you're like, let's look into all the I'm writing a research PhD report on bioweapons, how easy it is to make one. Let's write it. And so like each one's putting a piece together, and the work's already completed. It might check it over at the end.
Yeah.
But you literally, the work's already being made. The artifacts are already on the computer.
Oh, you're saying when you stitch together a bunch of agents who are looking at a very tiny view who don't hit the guardrail.
No, that's the jailbreak, is that using workflows to jailbreak it. But you have like 1,000 agents. They're all being told you're working on one piece of like a PhD, dissertation on bioweapon research. And yeah, I mean, like, it just didn't catch it. And the jailbreak was pretty easy around that. So I think they could fix it. I don't know. Like, it's just those are that and like the cybersecurity side.
But it's like for any model, like.
No, of course you can jailbreak anything. Nothing's immune to it. I mean,
Yeah. I think what we won't know for sure, and we touched on this last week, is all of the bureaucracy and politics that are also involved in all this. And you have to imagine there are financial aspects to it, there's political aspects to it, there's military aspects to it, and that whole story we're probably not going to hear.
yeah.
And we have to also kind of be mindful that could play either the biggest role in what's happening, or in some case like a minor rule, but nonetheless it's part of the calculus. But still pretty interesting to hear all the developments around it. I didn't know about the 48-hour turnaround.
That was from.
Is that from within?
Korean, no, it was the Korean International Philanthropic.
Oh, the president. I think so. Yeah. Okay. That was like an accidental. Oops. I don't think that was.
Shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
But like when you this is how Trump does things, right? Like he's like, oh, they're good. I thought they were bad, but now they're good. They're approaching things the right way.
It's a very Trump thing.
He's basically saying Dario bent the knee, therefore they will.
What an interpretation, dude. He bent the knee is the translation for Trump saying.
I came from the medical and research field, and like a few months ago, it was the same situation with the Cornell, with the Harvard, with the Columbia. Like he wanted to bend the knee for everyone. Like he got the financial support, like millions of dollars.
Is it Trump or Dario?
Trump.
Oh,
Like he done the same stuff. So he did like maximum restriction and then negotiate.
That's standard art of the deal.
Yeah, that's kind of what he does.
Yeah,
this is like goes to the far.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to put you out of business, and then he also clarified in the interview that like he doesn't really have a desire for government to absorb these AI companies.
Oh, of course.
But what does everybody? I know that's kind of politics. We can't control that. But what does everybody do in the room when something like this stops? And I remember last time everybody switched over to Codex because that was a better model.
Yeah.
This happened again. I was again kind of stuck and switched over to Codex. And now the whole data memory it doesn't understand. I'm switching platforms.
Yeah.
Does anybody do that in the room? Do you have some tools?
Yeah, I've made some. Basically, you can write the skill to transfer all of the skills from one. If you're talking about the skills and workflows, you basically can create the skill that make it automatically switch from one place to another. Like agent MD, code MD, all of that stuff. It can be like easily synchronized.
But what about the memory about your projects?
Yeah,
I think it's locked in, and it's locked in because it's like tied into the way that the memory system works for both companies. You can't like do an export grab all, right? There is simply nothing that even exists there. So you're gonna spend your hours trying to extract it out of its memory system, and I think what that really means is sort of it's basically what the All In podcast folks were bringing up last week. Like, hey, we're at a moment where I think we need to be a lot more serious about, are you going to continue with one of these big platforms, these big AI labs, and if you're going to start thinking about your longevity side and your long-term side, you need to start making those decisions now. Your segregation needs to probably start now. It's a little bit too late, but also like don't delay it further. I think was maybe their emphasis.
Well, I think that's why Codex is really. I think Codex team is pretty worried. The number of resets. I have like 6 resets banked now across my accounts, and like because I think a lot of the Codex team I know switched to Fable immediately. I mean,
what?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's interesting.
No, everyone switched to Fable because like Codex is slow as fuck. Like 5.5 compared to like Fable running 1,000 agents. Especially people who have a lot of compute. When Fable came out, like the OpenClaw team started just refactoring all of OpenClaw with Fable. Like everyone was on there. Peter and a lot of the teams like bitching about it. As soon as he got locked up, they're like, oh man, I can't use it. It's one of those funny things where everyone hates on Claude Code until Fable came out, and as soon as Fable came out, everyone was refactoring. I mean, every maintainer was refactoring. Like the reason we have stable updates right now on OpenClaw side, Fable refactored it. And in fact, like the reason the updates kind of stopped is everyone got stuck because Fable got locked up. And so we haven't seen any updates in the last week because everyone's Fable sessions are locked up. And so that happened to several projects. Like Fable was just so much of a difference for people. Even on my end.
I would say to your issue about switching is find your own AI brain that works for you and ingest your session data. So you always have that, whatever it may be. Hopefully you have a good enough retrieval layer to get the data that you need. Play around with that kind of idea.
Some kind of system can basically update your whatever your core workflow is, whether you're working. Because you can just take a set of skills that you built on Opus and then move on to something else. It's not going to work like that. So something like he said that you need to have almost like switch my process to Facebook, switch my process to Codex, something like that. And it rewrites all your core things that you do every single day. Or main things during the day.
Which side is rewriting it? Because I think we talked about this like 3-4
The third
weeks
model
ago.
is doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question.
I made
because-
Concilium for that, like all of them contributing to the stuff, like revisiting each other, and also sometimes like system cards came out about the model. So they basically had the instructions how to prompt the model, and you can use it.
But most of them put out their prompting guides per
Yeah.
model, so it's almost like those
The
are
way-
the templates of like the conversion.
Well, my train of thought is, let's assume I use Cloud Code now, I want to switch to Codex, and I want to make sure Codex does the same thing as Cloud did before. If I tell Codex convert everything from Cloud Code to Codex, why, if Codex can do that, why do I even need to convert them? Like if Codex understands it, then there's no need to convert, right?
I don't think they understand. The problem is the models are not self-aware enough to be able to do that. So you kind of have to, like when Mythos came out last week, if you just tried it working like with Opens, it felt like just a tiny little increment better. But then you started seeing like what Boris and the others posted, like you shouldn't be using this.
Yeah.
So they gave you instructions how to use it. And when you switch that, that's when you really felt like the increase in the model capability. So you can't ask the model to update itself. You have to like understand that. So
Yeah.
the instruction must come. That's where you have to make that.
This is not an easy problem. This is a very hard problem space. You're like what I don't see any of you guys talking about, and I think it's incredibly important, is your relationship of your evals to the model and the harness combination. That matrix is going to matter a lot. As you were pointing out, Boris, well, we got from you when you spoke with Boris last week. Boris had said that they removed 80% of the instructions in the system prompt, and that the recommendation for using Mythos was to simply remove instructions from your skill. So if you have a skill that is oriented for Mythos, it's a skill that has not that many instructions. Now give that same skill to Sonnet, and it's going to probably mess up because it's too vague. So your skill creations, your skills need to have a match with, for this particular model, for this particular harness, here's my evals, and the skill is probably written differently. So I say it's a hard problem because it's not, to me, it's not solved.
Is there a front matter thing we can use for that?
Not really. I mean, like within Claude ecosystem, the front matter of a skill, you can put the model name, but that doesn't change the instruction set. You're tied, they're one-to-one, right?
So if you had agents in Claude and could launch the agents as Haiku over Sonnet, you couldn't have a separate agent definition for each type?
You could, but now you're getting into harness engineering. So you're going to get into harness engineering, move away from skills to agents, and agents that are tied to a model, agents that have their prompts self-improving. So then you need an observability system that says, every one of my agents, how they perform this week.
Yeah.
Which ones did we not even run? Should they be deprecated? Should they be merged? So this is now all harness engineering, nothing really to do with the model.
Yeah, he's 100% right. Actually, the whole industry and all the engineers are trying to move away from prompt engineering. Like prompt engineering is dead, and then context engineering is great, and then there's harness engineering. And one of the issues that you see in your transfer of like skills and things like that is your skills need to be updated because they might actually be in conflict with the newer models who already have been trained and have internal prompting and stuff. And so you will need like thinner skills and more workflows more so than anything. I use runbook workflows more than anything. I'm just like this is this, and then it's really just a directory of how I like stuff versus how it should do it.
One of the areas I'm getting into is just focusing more on skills that are designed to make skills, so that dynamic workflows can pull in on those skills to go, okay, we're building out our agent team. Do we at least have best practices on how to approach skill development in a dynamic fashion? So
Is that for like, are those ephemeral skills? Like they're only written for that specific need? Use case
sometimes, because quite often when a dynamic workflow comes up, you do it for a problem.
Yeah.
But one of the things I like to have is another skill running
Yeah.
that says, just watch this shit, document what's going on, because there's always a lot of learning, even in an ephemeral workflow, there's a lot of learning. And so the other thing, I think of skills kind of the same way as software development with design patterns. And so I have a whole area which is loop patterns, agent patterns, skill patterns, and from that teams as well. The skills aren't always on one, sometimes they're as part of a team, so orchestrated, whatever. But if you document the patterns every time you do something, then you can create skills based off patterns that create other skills.
Pattern engineering.
By the way, anyone tested the GLM 5.2 yet? My benchmarks on it, which are much more strict, very good, but it's slow as shit. I've actually integrated it in to my Claude code for basically a lot of sub-agent tasks and testing, and especially overnight testing, because it's for like $60, you can get a lot out of it, but it's about 3 times more slow than any of the codex models. And this is not local, this is just on the server side. But in terms of my own benchmarks on it, which are really strict, it's just as good, if not better, than 5.5 and a little bit below 4.8. So like 4.7, like that, but it's quite competent. I'm usually not an open
GLM
source.
5.2.
GLM 5.2. I'm usually not big on GLM. I've always kind of played it or whatever, but this is finally the model that is competent enough to add into your Claude code and take if you're paying for the max plan, you can literally offload a ton of tasks to it, and it's actually integrated fine with Claude code. Literally, you can just swap out models, and yeah, you can extend your plan out a ton. So it's just mostly for overnight type tasks, because or like workflows that go a long time, because it literally is slow as shit. But it's just as competent, and it really can max out your plan. I've been running non-stop workflows and ultra code for like days.
It's cheaper.
For like $60, you get a ton of GLM.
You get like 1 billion tokens. This is a weird metric to go by. I don't know how to make sense of it, but I think it was like $60 gets you 1 billion tokens. $60 on Claude Code gets you some ridiculously no number. It's like.
And when you tried it, how good were the when you tried it, how good were the bioweapons?
Oh, I mean, I come from military that kind of background.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it's not hard to do those things.
But does it let you do hacking stuff? Does it shut you down all the time? Does it?
No, the jailbreak was good. So like I said,
no, for GLM. For GLM.
Oh, for GLM, I don't do GLM like that. I didn't do that kind of benchmark. It was more of like, can it handle everything that I do software-wise benchmark? And can I usually run parity tests, so I run a harness test 1 versus 1, and like how does it compete in terms of building the side or running like my engines, right? And can it use all the tools and etc. Does it work in the harness?
So I didn't install it. I watched a video on it. I was thinking through. It's really good for doing. If you wanted to create videos on autopilot using Python frames and video models and all that sort of stuff, and how to build up a whole video, because I've been doing a number of them recently with just on Opus. It can run on autopilot just as well as the Opus 4.8 one. So if you're working on the idea of I'm talking into the conversation, I've got a wall of text, I want to turn it into visual assets, architecture diagrams, summaries, and then pipe it all the way out to a website documentation or a video creation using HeyGen, hyperframe, stuff like that. It can do all of that on autopilot, so it's powerful for that.
And this is an example of non-American model, it's a Chinese model, and how they're progressing and catching up or getting past to certain models that are frontier what we use.
Yeah, I'm seeing that across the board on the internet, that there's a GLM 5.2 equivalent to basically 4.6 Opus. I sort of see that being mirrored in many places. And then the part about it being a Chinese model is interesting because, I love what they were saying on the All In podcast last week about how your choices, right now are like either Anthropic or OpenAI, and all the constraints and restrictions you get there, just as what was brought up right now, like your memory gets stuck in one, you can't get out. But the other alternative to those is like a Chinese company. It's an interesting scenario that we're in right now.
Where does your data go?
Yeah, where does your data go? And if you get banned from both of the American companies, what do you do? I think maybe your life is over.
I'd like to add one thing. At least a lot of the Chinese models are being open source. They're releasing their weights. So if you have a beefy enough machine, you can run it locally. And I think we're going to see more and more of that happening with any private data.
Yeah.
You know, you figure out like the gating process of like, all right, frontier, local.
Well, I'm wondering if that's going to continue, because if we're actually worried about cyber protection, like you can obliterate any open weight model, and then you can teach it to just get around that boundary. So
Those are the
only
best
way you
models
can
to
have
have.
a boundary or a bioweapon
That's why,
barrier is by centrally hosting it and never releasing the weights.
and that's why it doesn't make any sense to block methods at
Yeah.
deployment.
Exactly.
ZAI themselves, they predicted to have like a Fable class model by December this year. That's their own statement. So that's kind of like what they think about current speed. So maybe 6 months from now we're going to have open source as good as it is.
Yeah, that's
insane.
that. Yeah, if it pans out, that is truly insane. If it pans out, I have like slight,
Are you skeptical about that?
yeah. I mean, I'm sure they need to come out with their best possible public output they could ever possibly make. But
it's also like the fact that this is exponential. Like Fable class in 6 months, what does that look like?
oh yeah,
So
that's a good
from
question.
it, from
To me, you saying that it's the same as Opus 4.6 is just insane, right? Because I don't even know how good Fable is, but I know Opus is fucking good. So
Yeah,
what's the difference?
yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. If it does match 4.6 on all of its levels, which I doubt, I don't think it does, but I'm also not sure, then that is a really good point. That is a very good, very, very valid point. All right, let's do some news items. Okay, so by the way, this is like the way the format goes. If there's no real rule, I have a bunch of news items. We don't even have to go over any of them. You can shout out a topic and let it drive the conversation. That's fine. And when there's no topic, I'll come back to them. So let's start with this. Usually what I'll bring up on here is going to be things that the labs released. So we have the first news item here this is for the Claude ecosystem. This came out this week. This is the ability, so if you're in an enterprise, we have support for enterprise managed auth extension to MCPs. Let me blow up the video, restart it again. So if you're familiar with Claude, you have the ability to make connectors. Connectors are sort of like, it's remote MCP servers. And if you want a central place to manage them, and for even from an auth perspective, that's now available within Claude. I think if you're looking anything in the area of FDE, whether it's for other companies or for a company you're in, if you're the go-to person who needs to solve the company's shit, you need to know this. If your company is Claude-centric or if your customer is Claude-centric, this is one of those tools that you need to have in your tool belt. So that's why I put it up as a news item. Not the biggest thing in the world, but definitely the enterprise tools that are coming out from Anthropic are important. So don't throw them away. Don't look the other way. Keep it in mind. Let's read here what they put about it. They said that it centralizes authorization through your identity provider, no per app OAuth or setup for users, and tighter, more efficient control for admins. Really, really, really useful if you're in an org with 100 plus people, 10 people, it doesn't even matter. If you're gonna like make a sales team and you want them all in the same tools and the same management plane, we're getting that support. Well, let's move on to the next news item. Oh, this one was super cool. So Anthropic this week released, let me read the top first and we'll watch the video. So artifacts. Interactive pages built from your session, like a PR walkthrough or living project dashboard, shared with your team at a private link. So only available on team and enterprise plans right now. I hope they release it for the max plans. I don't know if they will. But just so you can see what it is, Claude has a new tool, a tool call that's available to Claude right there. I'm going to pause it. You see right there, artifact, that tool call. So Claude has access to this artifact concept. Other companies have been doing this long before, I think even going back last year. But what you can do here is Claude will make this artifact. You can share it to someone else in your org, and it's like an easy way to do handoffs. I'm really curious if you can just hand it off to other agents. That would be a cool use case. but Anthropic didn't really share all the details yet on that. So very, very useful for if your company has, I don't know, a marketing team and a dev team, and you need to share stuff between each other, and you're probably producing a whole lot of junk that you're not sure where to put it because it's like some throwaway thing. This is like, I think this sort of fits into that area. And then a lot of the comments from the Anthropic devs on Twitter are saying that they basically can't live without this, so it must be useful.
This is Tariq's thing, right? This is, he started
I don't know if
several weeks
Tariq
ago.
was the creator of this. I do know Dax sort of made a funny comment, or not Dax, Dex from Human Layer was like, hey, we made this a year ago, you guys are copying it from us.
Oh.
The guys who were all crazy about the Geoff Huntley loops and so on.
He posted about this like a couple weeks ago, and he said he basically posted the prompt to like just do this on your own. And I started using it for interactive pages. It was pretty good, and now it looks like it's a feature. So
Yeah.
But he posted on Twitter like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Mm.
My agents have been using it. It's actually been useful for my agents. And then
Yeah,
when
that's what
wanna-
I want to. That's what I'm more interested in. Like the agent side, that's basically a handoff.
Yeah, it's a handoff.
Yeah.
And then the agents have been natively, in my agent file, it's like, okay, this is where these live, and the agents just read them, check them. So I have 4 or 5 plot agents that normally would have collisions. They're not colliding anymore because they're just checking each other's notes.
Nice.
And so that's been nice, especially when I have, I want to have really fast momentum.
Yeah.
Did anybody get the reset this week? This is the first real clock reset. But
I think there was one 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, right?
There was 2 resets last week though. They reset it when Mythos came out, they reset it when Mythos disappeared. There was 2 in 1 week.
I guess I don't notice.
Yeah, no, that's true. There were 4. One of them was a 5-hour reset only. Then the other 3 were the complete reset for your full week.
I got a weird reset to only 67%. So it literally took me from like 85 to 67. I was like,
I don't know. There were some strange bugs going on. I think it was yesterday or the day before that they said that 3% of Anthropic users had some strange thing, almost sounding similar to what you just said, and they got fixed. Looks like they missed you.
yeah, well actually I found an unlimited bug yesterday, and I used the shit out of it. I normally don't use exploits, but there was one bug where I was just stuck on 67%. So I did the reset for 10 hours. It just didn't move at all, so I just used the shit out of it.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if that's a UI bug. Like maybe you were at 0.
Oh, it could have been actually, because they use Electron app tracking plus backend server tracking. And I bet if they had an update, Electron just wasn't doing well, and they just probably just kept it up. Because it used to be where you could literally just send a reset into the auth header, and you could just reset your limits. They really had a lot of exploits in Anthropic. So and I used to use them whenever we were on open clock, when we had clock code. Oh, I'm getting near it. Okay, hold on, let me just reset myself. And it's definitely vibe coded.
Interesting. Yeah, really interesting. Real quick, I'm curious, did anyone by any chance use artifacts in their company? Does anyone have access to it? I imagine you guys are all on probably the subscription plan.
I have access but haven't used it. I can try today.
I'm just curious if don't have to, but yeah, if you do, it'd be cool to hear.
Would it
Oh,
be
shit.
something
It's
useful,
only
like
team
what you're
enterprise.
interested in building anyway? Would that be in addition to some of the stuff that?
Not for me, but for other teams,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah. I read it yesterday and I was like, didn't we have that in Cloud Cowork already? They were already doing artifacts, right? But not this way. That's why I didn't pay much attention to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a completely different point of view on artifacts
Yeah,
compared to Cowork.
this is more shareable than the cowork.
Can you
feature.
reverse engineer and then release it public? Because it's only available on that end, but it'll just be a plugin on their end, and so it'll just be a prompt. So if you just take that, someone else probably will do it soon too. But if you just reverse engineer it, make the prompt, and then share it, anyone else can just build a plugin to do it. It won't have the share button like they
Right.
have on there on the app, but everyone else can test it and play with it. So
Yeah, that might happen. Or I just hope that they
release.
because sometimes what they'll do is we've seen this time and time again where they start an enterprise and then 6 weeks later it's to the general public. sort of like Mythos. Maybe not. I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't know. We'll see with Mythos. Okay, next item. Let's jump to it. Getting agents into production, the unglamorous part. What is this again? Okay. This is a little bit more enterprisey, but it's still, I think what was cool about this, okay, so we know that Anthropic has done managed agents. I'm going to pause it right here. This is managed agents, right? And they released this on Twitter this week, this video, but managed agents is quite old. Sorry, let me not say old. It's the most recent thing that came out from them. It didn't come out this week. It came out a couple of weeks ago, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. But what I liked about this video, and I want everyone to see, if you're, once again, if you're doing FTE for Anthropic, or if in your org you have pieces of Anthropic, it's good to know this. This right here resembles, I think, the way that the world was sort of going in as far as building their systems out. So notice that the production infrastructure is, there's a dotted line right here. And what this is saying is that, like, so your product, Claude, is this one little node in your infrastructure, and you're probably managing all of these nodes here at the bottom, right? Like when Dave talks about observability and telemetry and so on, I'm sure that's you managing it. You have your own system to manage it. But with managed agents, all of that gets sucked away into Anthropic, and you don't have to deal with the problem anymore. You also sort of sign your life away, but still good to know that if you're walking into a company and you're going to do some work for them, or it's your company, this is an option that's available to you. So if you have all that stuff in your company that you're managing that you don't want to manage, telemetry, observability, hosting, and so on, you can.
I like how visual they are about how they're boxing to it.
Yeah. This stuff we own. We own this from you now.
Yours to build and run. It's nothing.
But okay, well, here's what's interesting. Every single week we've come here for the last, I think, like 4 or 5 weeks. Jordan, going back many weeks ago, said, he sort of put this prediction out that all the changes we're going to see in the coming time are basically web focused and web gated, right? So like more of the tooling, more of the features and capabilities from the labs are going to be behind their walled garden, and their walled garden is basically only going to get bigger. And this is we've been tracking it every single week, and it's held true, and we see it literally every single week. There's some other thing that adds another drop into that whole area.
They're all building this, but is anyone using it? Like I remember when we were all excited about OpenAI launching an app store, and absolutely no one uses that shit.
But this is a way for them to earn money. Like they need to earn money, they need to lock you in, and they need to provide all that ecosystem pieces like here to stand out, to have their unique selling point. I'm sure other companies will catch up, but the unique selling point, at least for the moment here, is you don't have to take care of all this shit anymore.
Yeah.
And it's integrated into the tool that you're already using, right? Right now, like my company, they use Workado as like a workflow orchestrator, but they're leaning heavily into all AI agent stuff, and they have this since like a year.
Yeah.
But it's also all locked in, and you have, what you said, you really have to commit to this one platform, because moving away from it is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
And so far there was nothing else than Workado that could do that for you. Now it's getting more interesting, but you really need all these other pieces around just your normal agent framework or capabilities that you have.
So it's not just the frontier models anymore. Now it's all of these things. And if we lose Babel 5, we're kind of like stuck with the whole ecosystem now. And it makes it very difficult for people to switch internally. Even though, let's say you have a team that want to work on the frontier model, which is not available on Claude, they cannot switch away. They're like, the whole team is like, what about my credentials? What about my sandbox? What about my session?
Well, just the capability, because especially authentication, credentials, authorization is incredibly difficult for enterprises. So if you give them that feature, they're like, well, maybe I don't mind so much being logged in.
Well, the benefit,
Like
benefit
Microsoft
is, like, you have to.
365.
Yeah, same thing. Yes, same as Microsoft for end users, for endpoints.
Or the whole Apple company.
Or yeah.
You
Or
have to
that.
spin up an environment anyway. You have to have the whole ecosystem set up. Even if you host it yourself,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's managed. What's this? 8 cents per hour or something like that. It's not significantly more expensive than any other environment you would have to set up. So there's no real loss here other than that it's fully managed and it's built specifically for the tool that it's using, which, you know, arguably what you save in the infrastructure management is worth it.
For sure, because you know that this shit will work, and it's not your responsibility anymore.
Well,
and
We you kind of have the expectation that it will work, and like they'll do it better than you because it's their own stuff, and that's why like the decision for my company was also made like user-facing AI will be in Workado because we don't want to deal with all of this shit.
Yeah.
It's way too difficult, and yeah, it seems to be expensive, but if you take factor in what you said, like I need a team of 5 people to run all of this shit.
Yeah. It's like everything else from an architecture standpoint. It is always about trade-offs. Always about trade-offs. Do you want to have DevOps on your team? You're paying whatever salary, and you're managing your own infrastructure. You're paying for it. Do you want that? And that's a risk issue. That's a financial issue. That's a company directive issue and mission. You know how they want to see themselves going forward in the future. So I think it's a trade-off thing. And I think what's important for all of us here, though, is to know what the options are. So it's good to know that like I chose this intentionally, not because it's the only thing available, but I just took into my calculus that this was the right direction. Or, as you know, very valid, like I'm not going to do it because I know I'm going to get locked in. Like the day that you need to ship and lift and shift, I mean, good luck. It's not happening. You're stuck,
Another
right?
good thing is a lot of like even the like the soft architecture, like this is all SOC 2 compliant, HIPAA, like all that stuff. Like if you do that internally in a company, that's $20,000-$30,000 a year to keep up just the SOC 2 compliance. And then if you everything else already has all that built in, so you also solve for like the soft problems.
Right. I just want to disagree a bit about the lock-in though, because that's the old way of thinking before we had LLMs that we could say, hey, what does this do? Can you reproduce it?
Yeah.
You know, lock-in is kind of dropping away, and we all haven't acknowledged what's happened. You know, we're all like, you have to use this API because it calls the other APIs. No, you don't. You just tell Claude to call the other API and it fucking
No,
knocks it out.
but as you know, like I want to extract all my memories that you have,
Yeah,
and the
like
company
they
doesn't.
did.
But the company doesn't give you an export button.
No, but that's what Claude did to OpenAI. They created a skill to export all the memories, and that's what we can do too.
But that's also because OpenAI has a really weak memory system, right? Like it's just text files.
Yeah. So is Claude.
But it's also not. There's a distinction here. Like if you're going to go extract memories, and that's a very lossy function, and so that's
This is
it's
not. This is not. This is credentials and sandbox and code. Like this is not lossy.
it's always a layering of like how much stuff do you have committed to something, because when the time comes to unlayer it and to reverse.
Only when we don't have models that are smart enough to unlayer it for us.
Yeah. So one thing I learned this week is just how valuable like some of my customer systems are versus the internal things that I've built without DevOps. Like the amount of no matter what, you're getting locked into something. And I use a lot of open source software, and because of that, I mean, I really dove into how many updates, how much security I need to do, and just using like our servers with all of like, for example, we built an OpenClaw, which also uses plugins. Like SAG is a plugin, and it needs to be updated. And so the amount of updates that I have to manually do every week and actually check for security is like 100. And so, like you were saying on the SOC compliance, like it's all a trade-off to what you want to do.
Yeah.
On my end, I have to spend now like a day every week. I mean, not me, but the AI side, updating all the software, making sure there's no security issues. Because because I have a fleet of like 100 user servers, and they're doing all kinds of shit all the time.
If we look 8 months into the future, how much of that update process do you think is automated?
I think that it was going to be more scary with more viruses, more issues. Like I have to do a lot of security. Like one of my user servers got there's always a plugin or something that has breach, and so I'm constantly having to make sure that our users don't update things. And open source has some breach on something like, oh, a crypto miner got in because of this one plugin, and then not like a plugin, not a skill. I don't know. I think that it's going to get worse security-wise.
So you
I think so too.
Model capability to fix the problems is going to increase slower than the problems.
No, I think that the problems will increase. Oh, I think the problems will increase faster, and the companies will appreciate that and lock people in more. And companies will look to more compliance side, saying, oh, I don't know about the open source side. And the companies are going to be all about that, right? They want more users in, so they're going to say, oh, our system's secure, and everything we do is secure. Security is going to be the issue.
This is literally one of the predictions we made going back months ago when Mythos first hit the sort of public whispers. We made that, we sort of did that prediction here where we were saying that there's going to be a reckoning. All of you guys with like really poor security systems are going to get fucked at some point. When Mythos is fully out and available and Mythos exists by the other companies like a Mythos level, there's going to be a bloodbath.
But Mozilla is saying they're catching up, right? And it could be the same for sysadmins.
There's people here who cannot afford the access to these kind of models, and so you sort of, if you look at the entire plane,
infrastructure.
well, no, you might not be able to afford this too. It's like your whole setup is running on not on this, but on some open source patchwork of whatever. And you've probably got a whole bunch of holes in there. So once again, that's part of the whole trade-off thing though, right? Like you're in situation A, what are you gonna do? What are your options? I'm just saying it's good to know what your options are.
Does anyone use Paperclip?
I tried it.
Paperclip has a massive security flaw if you didn't update to the latest version, and where someone could hit the server up and inject whatever code they wanted to. They didn't really announce or talk about it because it's an open source project, but it was on the security forums, and literally just someone hit it with enough actually it was an open source like model. They just hit it as much as they could to try to reverse engineer it. It's a Chinese company, and then they just released it on the internet, and then people didn't update because not everyone's thinking like, oh, I need to update.
It was an RCE, right?
It was an RCD.
Yeah.
And one of my users got hit with it, and next thing you know, the servers that like doing crypto mining. And because I didn't update like that day when the release came out within like 5 minutes, and I have a ton of security, but because that left a back door.
Does anyone have like 100% certainty that it's going to go this way though? Because
no one can answer
like,
this.
I think it's more like 50%.
Let me call God real quick. Fable 5 is down. I can't talk to it right now.
But yes, because
it seems like a legacy bet is my point. Like we don't know what the future is, and this seems like a legacy bet.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible, right?
But what do companies want? They want the lazy, secure, easy,
It opens up so many options that are like you're a greenfield, brand new company, and you now have this as an option to go really fast, right? Like that is an edge in a sense. So it always comes down to, or the trade-offs always come down to the strategies, the business strategies. Why are you making these decisions, and what is the intentional thing about making those decisions? Right? I'm deciding to do this because of I am a greenfield company. I only have this much money, whatever.
Should I spend $30 on this software that I know is secure and certified, or should I build it from scratch?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's why this is a dev meeting. There's no business people side here. Like business people will say, oh yeah, I don't want to build that from scratch. They never want to build from scratch.
A lot of people would use their $20 subscription to build it from scratch, and then they don't have to pay $30 every month.
That's what this room would do. I'm saying with the business leadership side is like, as a business leader myself, and also dev, I know my devs say, "Oh, we'll build it from scratch." I know they are bullshitting me 9 out of 10 times because they know it's going. I know it's going to turn into
more work.
Devs don't have Fable, right? They don't have the thing that.
Fable's expensive as fuck. Like Fable isn't $20.
Well, there's a gradient too, right? Like there are developers who are very high level and senior who know that that's a trap, right, and who can speak to that. and then of course, then it would come to the business side to actually be the, okay, here's the hammer, we're gonna go this direction or not.
Yeah, it's the maintainer job. Anytime you have to maintain something, you have, and especially now, you have to maintain it constantly.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, seriously. Like every hour, you need something
Yeah, I have an
always
agent-
on.
I literally have a codex that just is constantly keeping for security updates and flaws because a bunch of companies and from a customer perspective, if something breaches or an issue, oh, it's a fucking nightmare.
I was just going to use OpenClaw for that.
All right. Let's move on. Next news item. We got. I'm gonna skip that. AI spend is about to become vogue. Okay. This was a post that didn't go viral, but I saved it because I wanted to bring it up here for a whole bunch of reasons. Let's see, oh no, it did. It had 1.2 million views by this guy, and Chamath responded. Anyways, so let's read this and then dive into it. My post about Anthropic raising our cost by 1 million went viral. 3 million impressions across X and LinkedIn. Reporters DMing me to chat. Blah, blah, blah. This ordeal has made a few things clear. AI spend management is about to become vogue. We're looking at how to increase spend visibility at both the company and user level. And then he goes on to put a whole bunch of short-term and long-term fixes. So short-term fix, start splitting different functions within the company to use different providers. So start mixing up OpenAI here, Anthropic there, open source there. And then he has some long-term strategy set. The point of this post, the reason why I'm bringing it up here is we actually, funny enough, and I was one of the people who sort of made a mistake on this, but Steve would bring up like, hey, AI token budgets, which was his thing and super important to him. And I was like, man, we can go really far with a little bit of money. And I was wrong about that because now the token spend budget is a front and center problem. This post having gone viral is sort of a testament to that. And so as well as I think within the last few weeks, we've seen companies like Uber, Microsoft, whatever other things that I've forgotten, but they basically have already reached their token budget and they're not sure how to proceed, and they're already making these crazy changes. You hear about some of these companies who have completely gotten off of Anthropic because it's too expensive. You have other companies who are trying to figure out how to do their token budget. I think nobody has any idea. You're probably the furthest in the little area that you're in because you were focused on it from like a startup perspective, I think.
I've always been optimizing everything in my life, just from the video games, milliseconds of like looking at a wall in Doom and Quake back in the days to, now it's like just seeing like you just can't, you can burn as much as you want, it's your own money, I don't really care, but like being efficient, just gonna make you go a lot further down the road. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody has to find their own balance.
Which strategies do you have so far, to optimize that?
I offload a lot of stuff to local models. Like I have a news system that gets my news in the morning from Reddit, Hacker News, all that. It runs it through a local model. Quinn 3.6, it summarizes the articles for me. And then it has a TTS model, text-to-speech model, that creates a script for me. And then it creates like an audio brief in the morning. And all that's done on local models, like at 6 in the morning. I don't really care.
Do you mix when you do the work to code, do you mix models, choose which one for which task?
I will always try to use frontier models for coding tasks. Yeah. But anything else that's more, doesn't require PhD level stuff, I'll offload to another model. If it's not time sensitive either, I have a queue system, it goes through the queue. Once it's done, it picks up the next queue.
Do you stay within one model company, so for example Claude, and then just switch between frontier models and some of the older models? Or do you go outside of that?
I've been more of a Codex user ever since it first came out. I do have a Claude plan. But it's my main system is Codex for all the coding I'm doing, and then like Quinn 3.6 or whatever new model comes out that's open source that I can run on my machines. I'll test it out, see how well it does, and and then push it through the system. So I'm offloading X amount of tokens.
So that the other task is just on one vertical. You pick one model for one vertical. It's solved for that problem only. So if it's one task only, and then you go to another task, you pick another model.
I have
or just one model goes in the multiple times.
I built a model router that, depending on what the model strength is, it'll say, okay, this is a good summarizer model, this is a good coding model, and I can select which ones I want it to do. And then I run the task offloading it from the main thing. It just goes through my little API system. It's a lot of work, but it's, I like it. It's
So
really
let's say a new model is introduced, and then how do you add that to your existing thing?
I have an onboarding skill that goes out and researches the model, sees if it can run on the hardware, identifies what it needs to install, if it needs to create its own virtual environment.